Yeah, please. Good evening. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Give me a brief introduction.
My name is Swastik Aarohan. I am from Parliament Gajapati district. I have done my MBA in Finance and HR specialization from Exide in Bangalore. Prior to that, I have done my Bachelor in Technology from Central University of Technology Management in ECE. My hobbies are I like to watch movies during my free time, and I love to cook. And I also took part in many competitions during my college and my post-graduation days. Currently, I am working as professional officer in South Indian Bank at Bhubaneswar branch.
Okay. Tell me something. Why you told me something regarding cooking? Your hobby
Yes.
in cooking. So tell me what kind of cuisine you like to cook?
So mostly Indian, but I also do like Chinese cuisines to cook sometimes. But my favorite dish is chicken biryani. So most of the times I cook that.
Indian.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the difference really between the normal biryani and a dum biryani? What is that dum thing?
Yeah. Dum biryani. Dum means to give. To cook in a steam. So that is dum. So now what it is done is that in dum biryani, what we do is that the rice is cooked separately, the meat is cooked separately, and then both of them are combined and put into a steam. Like it is cooked giving a pressure, a steam. So that is dum biryani. In normal biryani, what happens is that the rice and the chicken, they are cooked together, and it is most commonly known as pulao.
Okay. Is there any special kind of rice used for biryani?
Basmati rice.
Basmati rice. What are the features of basmati? Can you tell me?
The intense flavor, the smell of basmati rice. That's how the name comes by, and it is a long grain in nature. So it is longer, and there are different types of basmati rice. So there are various varieties, and basmati rice and long grain rice are two different kinds of rice. Because basmati rice is particularly patented. So basmati rice is long in nature. It has an intense flavor and the smell, which gives that peculiarity to a biryani.
You told something like it has been patented.
Yes.
Patented by whom?
Patented by Government of India.
Okay, but
it is a regional patent, like the national. Basmati rice is patented as an Indian rice.
okay, why was there any effort to patent it as some other countries' rice?
No, actually Basmati rice mostly it was produced in Masuri and Dehradun. So before other countries tried to proclaim it over, and Basmati rice has been used in cooking for centuries in biryani in India. So because of that and the cultural attachment to the Basmati rice, the Government of India thought of patenting it before any other country argues that Basmati rice is primarily used as their cuisine.
Okay. So tell me, so since you are interested in cooking,
Yes.
what is your opinion that men are better cooks or chefs as compared to women?
It's definitely not that, sir. It's the opinion may vary from person to person, but I don't feel that men are better chefs than women, because most men are taught by their mothers. So I think mothers or women are the best cook. According to me, because primarily mothers are the one that cook at home, and men are the one whom they learn from. Now it is a different case that in culinary industry, in hotels and big restaurants and all, men do have a prominent area. They do take most of the prominent positions in culinary world. But then there are also some women chefs who have made their name, like Talla Dalal. She writes books, so recipe books, and she is very famous for that. So I think that both are equal. It depends on how passionate you are to follow your passion in cooking.
Okay. Tell me something about the optionals you have taken for this exam.
So I have taken history and management as my options for the mains.
History and management.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me the names and the conditions of any two major peasant rebellions in India. Peasant rebellions. Any two would suffice.
Peasant rebellions. So I do not recall, I can't recall now exactly the peasant rebellions, but I know that there was a rebellion for the indigo crop growth.
Birds, indigo birds, okay. What was the problem with growing indigo? Yeah, what was the problem with growing indigo?
Sir, it was related to the revenue of the land which came from indigo. Most of it was taxed, and most part of the indigo output that was coming from the farmers were going to the British or the zamindars who were sponsored by the British, we can say. So that was the main reason.
Okay. Was there any problem with indigo? If you cultivate indigo, will that affect the fertility of your soil? Anything of that sort?
No, sir, I don't exactly remember, sir.
Okay. So in management,
Yes.
there are various types of achievement levels of a human being.
Yes.
According to you, okay, what are the steps? You can tell me about Maslow's hierarchy or any other
Yes.
management expert or administrator
Yes.
who have given their opinion about it.
Okay. So Maslow's theory of hierarchy is, I think, one of the most popular theories for achievement of a particular person. Now that comes from motivation. He has defined the levels of achievement through different hierarchies or different steps. Now the most important thing for a person is security, and then comes the social needs, and then comes he has defined in such a way that once is the security needs of a person is completed, he moves on, he is motivated to achieve the next level, that is the social needs of a person, like social attachment, social bonding with people around him. Once the social bonding is achieved, then he moves on to the next level, that is the requirement for achievement of commanding a power. Now once that is achieved, he moves on to the next level, which is known as the self-actualization level. Now in the self-actualization level, it is the ultimate level of achievement of a person. Now once he reaches that level, it is difficult for a person to get motivated even more. So these are the 4 levels of hierarchy that Maslow has explained in his theories. So motivation of a person begins with security and ends with self-actualization.
Okay. And what about, have you heard about Herzberg?
Yes, Herzberg's 2-factor theory. Yes. Now Herzberg had a different opinion about the satisfaction level of employees in an organization. He said that a person who is not satisfied may not be dissatisfied, and a person who is not dissatisfied may not be satisfied exactly. So he says that there are motivation factors and hygiene factors in a workplace. Now the hygiene factors are the pay, work environment, the consistency in career, and the chance for growth in the field. These may be considered as the motivation, as the hygiene factors. That are the basic requirements for a person. Now, if these things are totally achieved by the person, then what happens is that he is not dissatisfied with the job. But to get satisfaction, a person needs, the employer needs to provide a person motivation as well. Now these motivation factors can be giving a flexible work time. Now that's how you can motivate an employee. Ask him to go on a paid leave or paid vacation. That is how you can motivate an employee. Now once these motivation factors come into play, the person comes from the level of not dissatisfied to satisfied. So he said that there are three levels: either you are satisfied, you are not satisfied, and you are dissatisfied.
Okay. So your other option is history, right?
Yes.
History and so you are from Gajapati.
Yes.
So can you tell me something about the history of your particular district? And Gajapati was it a independent republic, or it was a part of Odisha from the beginning?
Gajapati was part, if we consider modern history, Gajapati was formed on October 2nd, 1992, after it broke out from the Ganjam district, the much larger Ganjam district. Now, prior to 1992, Gajapati was a part of Ganjam district, which was a very large area, in fact. Now, prior to that, before that, when there was no Ganjam district, Gajapati was ruled by independent rulers. It was an independent area. Now, once in 1936, the then king of ruler of Gajapati, Maharaj Krishna Chandra Gajapati Singh, he struggled to form Odisha as an independent state. Now, after that, Gajapati came inside Ganjam. So that was how the formation of Gajapati took place.
Okay. Did he attend the round table conferences?
Yes, he did attend the round table conference.
Which round table conference?
He attended the first round table conference.
Okay. So tell me something about the formation of Odisha state. Which organization was involved in the formation of Odisha state?
Organizations.
Yeah, there was a particular organization which was formed with the main motive of having a separate state of Odisha.
I apologize, sir. I don't remember actually. I have read about it, but I don't remember.
Which commission recommended the formation of state of Odisha?
I don't remember it, sir.
Okay. What is your opinion about the formation of states in India on basis of language? Had you been given a chance? What would have been your suggestion? If it is not right, okay, it has not strengthened our country, then according to you, what could have been the criteria for
Formation of states.
in India?
Sir, India is a land of diversity. Now, diversity is our main strength. That is what I believe. We all are Indians at heart. I do agree with that case. But then we all have our own different cultures. Now, these cultures come from our languages, the way we live our lives. So, I think if a state is formed on the basis of different languages, it is not totally wrong. Because Orissa state was formed because majority of Odia speaking people were then spread out through Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh. Now, what happens is that if we form a state based on language, more or less we help in preserving that culture. So that is what I feel, because if a state has to form, then it better be formed in the basis of language, because after all we do understand that we are Indians and we are from the same country and we do have brotherhood among us, but then conserving our own cultures is another thing, because that gives us a totally different identity and a unique identity, and also it becomes our strength.
What is your opinion about the recent dispute between Chhattisgarh government and government of Odisha on the Mahanadi river?
Sir, the dispute arose because Chhattisgarh government, they started building projects which Odisha government asked them to stop for a while, because what our government thinks is that people who are living in and around Mahanadi river belt area, they will be affected in particular because of these projects. Now, Chhattisgarh, definitely they should, as a state, they see their own benefit. But being empathetic human beings, they should have considered the the effects that these projects would take place, that these projects would cause to neighboring states, because major part of Mahanadi flows through Orissa and meets the Bay of Bengal. So they should have considered the effect of these projects on the people in and around the river basin. Now we did ask them, and we did ask the center to intervene, and they formed the water tribunal board with Uma Bharti as the chairperson of the board. But then even after that we did not get any kind of we did not get any kind of positive outcome of that, and Chhattisgarh still continued to do that. Now we have filed a petition in Supreme Court asking them to put a stop to building these projects for the time being, so that we can sort it out. So I think that Mahanadi forms a main part of our ecosystem. So before anyone pursues on any kind of project being built on Mahanadi, they should have considered the advice of neighboring states. That's what I.
Okay. Also, give me your opinion regarding the decision of the government of India to have a reconsideration on the Indus Water Treaty, Indus Water Sharing Treaty with Pakistan. First tell me if you know something about the Indus Water Treaty and what the government is trying to review. Are we trying to just finish the treaty and stop the water from going to Pakistan, or it is more of a posturing by the government?
Sir, it is definitely a posturing by the government, because we as a country, we feel responsible towards people of other country as well. Now if we stop the Indus water totally entering to Pakistan, now that would be totally inhuman in part of Indian government, because Indus water flows as a lifeline to the Pakistani people. That is the first thing. The second thing is that being a country, and when so many other countries are involved, because now India is almost a global power now. Now when the power play comes into action, there are various things that come to the forefront. Like then there is China who is threatening us to stop water flow from Brahmaputra to India. And then there is United States who gives a different opinion on this one. And then there is Russia who is supporting us. So we have to take into consideration all these things before taking any strong action on Pakistan. Because as a global country, I would like to say as a global country, India cannot solely take independent decisions on what it can do with natural factors. Indus flows through Pakistan naturally. Now if Indus is flowing through us geographically or naturally, we should consider the opinion of different people around us. What to do if we want to go ahead on stopping Indus River, the flow of Indus River water into Pakistan. Personally, I feel that should not be done, because from a human point of view, I do not think stopping water flow into another country, knowing the consequences of it, will be morally right. The same thing happens what Chhattisgarh is doing with Orissa, right? More or less the same thing. So,
but what about let's say the disputes, interstate water disputes within the country, let's say Kaveri between Tamil Nadu
and Karnataka, yes.
So can you tell me why this Kaveri water dispute? Okay, can you tell me something about the history of this Kaveri water dispute, and which all parties signed the treaty, and what is the problem now? And apart from Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, which are the other states or union territories involved in this?
Sir, exactly, I do not know the exact specification of the treaty signing of Kaveri water treaty.
Was it a pre-independent treaty or a post-independence treaty?
I cannot say, sir. I do not know the history of Kaveri water treaty, but what from geographical point of view, what I feel is that Tamil Nadu is scarce of water. Tamil Nadu doesn't have enough of fresh water flow into the country. And if Karnataka stops the flow of Kaveri water into Tamil Nadu, then there will be a big problem with that. Now Karnataka is facing a water crisis because of the population of the people in Bengaluru, because Bengaluru has become a cosmopolitan state and everyone from the country wants to go and reside in Bengaluru. Now both of the states are now facing water problem, water crisis. So they should come to a conclusion how they can evenly share water. I mean proportionately, if it is possible at all. So Supreme Court has asked Karnataka to lift the, to let flow some, I don't know the exact amount, a large volume of water per day into Tamil Nadu recently. So Supreme Court also sees that there is a pertinent water crisis in both the states. So we have to find a conclusion together, because if center wants something, then they can bring two parties together and make it possible for a proper water flow in both the states, because crisis is the main problem now because of population explosion.
Okay. And what do you think? Some states, they are openly now defying the Supreme Court. For example, Karnataka, in the assembly they have said, Karnataka government, we are unable to give water, we cannot release more water. Similarly, in case of this Satluj Yamuna link canal, the government of Punjab has already stated that whatever Supreme Court says, we are not going to give water to Haryana. So what is your opinion about this open defiance of Supreme Court orders?
Open defiance of Supreme Court orders is absolutely wrong, sir. According to me, because we all live in a country and we all tend to respect rules. We all need to respect rules and law above all. So if Supreme Court has asked the state or state government to do something, they are bound to follow it. Now it depends on the people how they think about it. So it shows us the very nature of people ruling a country or ruling a state. Now it shows us that how a particular state can defy Supreme Court while the same state wants their people to hold up law. So that is not possible. It's a hypocritical society, unfortunately, that we are living in. But if someone is defying the Supreme Court, then there's an absolute denial of law above all else. So that is a part of major concern for the country. Now the center, if it wants, can intervene and solve the situation. But then what about the moral values of the person who are defying the law? No doubt they are thinking about their own people, they are thinking about their own state. But then after all, we are living in a single country. So there is no point in being selfish about your people. We have to share with whatever resources we have.
Okay, right. So that will be it. Thank you.